Nobody is coming to save you. Not because people are evil. Not because the world hates you. Not because no one cares. But because your life was never meant to be carried by someone else. You can be loved. You can be helped. You can be guided. But no one can do your courage for you. No one can wake up inside your body and choose discipline for you. No one can face your fears while you avoid them. No one can master your reactions while you keep feeding them. No one can rebuild your mind while you sit there waiting to feel ready. This is a hard truth, but it is also a freeing truth. Because if no one is coming to save you, then you no longer have to wait. You do not have to wait for the perfect person. You do not have to wait for the perfect mood. You do not have to wait for the pain to disappear. You do not have to wait for someone to understand how tired you are. You can begin now. Weak, afraid, uncertain, unnoticed. Still begin. The Stoics understood this clearly. They did not build their philosophy on comfort. They built it on responsibility. Epictetus was born into slavery. Marcus Aurelius ruled during war, disease, betrayal, and pressure. Seneca lived close to power, danger, exile, and death. These men did not teach that life would become gentle before you became strong. They taught that strength begins when you stop demanding life to be gentle first. So before we go deeper, write this in the comments if you are willing to be honest with yourself. What is one thing you have been waiting for? Maybe you have been waiting for motivation. Maybe you have been waiting for an apology. Maybe you have been waiting for someone to believe in you. Maybe you have been waiting for life to finally feel fair. Write it down. Not for me. For yourself. Because sometimes the first step towards strength is seeing the excuse clearly. The first lesson is this: stop waiting for rescue. Many people do not fail because they are incapable. They fail because they keep imagining that some future event will give them permission to begin. They tell themselves, when I feel better, I will change. When people support me, I will start. When I have more time, I will become disciplined. When life is less stressful, I will control my mind. But life does not pause so you can become ready. Life keeps moving. The days keep passing. The body gets older. The mind gets softer when it is never trained. And the person who waits too long begins to confuse waiting with patience. The Stoics did not see patience as passive delay. They saw patience as endurance while doing what is right. There is a difference between waiting wisely and avoiding responsibility. Waiting wisely means you accept timing that is not in your control. Avoiding responsibility means you delay the work that is in your control. Epictetus taught that some things are up to us and some things are not. Your past is not fully up to you. Other people's opinions are not fully up to you. Luck is not fully up to you. The weather of the world is not fully up to you. But your next choice is closer to you than anything else. Your judgment, your effort, your honesty, your discipline, your refusal to collapse just because life is hard. These belong to you. And that is where your freedom begins. Many people want freedom, but they do not want ownership. They want peace, but they do not want self-control. They want respect, but they do not want discipline. They want a new life, but they do not want to become a new person. Stoicism removes the hiding places. It asks you a quiet but serious question. What part of this is yours? Not what did they do. Not what happened before. Not who failed you. Not why the world is unfair. What part of this is yours? That question can feel heavy at first. But it is not punishment. It is power. Because the moment you can see what is yours, you can act. The second lesson is this. Your emotions are not your master. You may feel weak in the morning. You may feel anxious at night. You may feel angry when someone disrespects you. You may feel rejected when someone ignores you. You may feel tired of trying. The Stoics never said you would not feel these things. They were not statues. They were human beings. The goal of Stoicism is not to become cold stone. The goal is to stop being dragged by every inner storm. Marcus Aurelius wrote to himself because he needed reminders. He did not wake up perfect. He trained his mind because the mind can wander into fear, pride, anger, and despair. This matters because many people worship their feelings without realizing it. They say, I do not feel motivated, so I will not work. I feel anxious, so I cannot begin. I feel insulted, so I must react. I feel lonely, so I must chase. I feel afraid, so I must stop. But a feeling is not a command. A feeling is information. Sometimes useful. Sometimes distorted. Sometimes old pain wearing today's clothes. You do not have to obey every feeling that walks through your mind. You can notice it. Name it. Question it. Then choose. That pause is where strength begins. Not in having no fear, but in refusing to let fear sit on the throne. Not in having no anger, but in refusing to let anger borrow your mouth. Not in having no sadness, but in refusing to let sadness define your future. A weak person is not someone who feels pain. A weak person is someone who gives pain complete authority. The Stoic does not say, I feel nothing. The Stoic says, I feel this, but I am still responsible for what I do next. That sentence can save your life from many foolish decisions. I feel this, but I am still responsible. Say it when you are angry. Say it when you are tired. Say it when you want to quit. Say it when you want to send the message you know will make you look desperate. Say it when your mind is begging for comfort instead of growth. I feel this, but I am still responsible. The third lesson is this. Discipline begins when comfort stops leading. Most people do not need a new philosophy. They need to stop negotiating with comfort every morning. Comfort has a soft voice. It says, sleep longer. Start tomorrow. You deserve a break. This is too hard. No one will know. Just skip it once. But comfort is a poor master. It promises relief and slowly steals strength. One skipped day becomes two. One avoided task becomes a habit. One small surrender becomes a personality. And soon a person looks at their life and says, how did I get here? Usually, the answer is not one huge failure. It is many small moments when comfort was allowed to lead. The Stoics trained themselves to expect discomfort. They did not treat difficulty as an interruption to life. They treated it as part of life. Seneca even practiced voluntary discomfort. He would remind himself that he could survive with less. Why? Because a person who needs too much comfort becomes easy to control. If you cannot tolerate boredom, you will run to distraction. If you cannot tolerate criticism, you will become a slave to approval. If you cannot tolerate loneliness, you will beg for bad company. If you cannot tolerate discomfort, you will abandon every important goal the moment it becomes difficult. This is why discipline is not only about productivity. Discipline is freedom. The disciplined person is harder to bribe with pleasure, harder to break with pain, harder to distract with noise, harder to control with approval. Discipline does not make life easy. It makes you less fragile. So ask yourself today, where has comfort been leading me? Is it leading my sleep, my food, my spending, my words, my anger, my relationships, my work, my excuses? Do not answer quickly. Look honestly, because wherever comfort leads too long, weakness grows quietly. The fourth lesson is this: do the work even when no one notices. This is where many people lose themselves. They want growth, but they also want applause for growing. They want discipline, but they also want someone to admire every sacrifice. They want to become stronger, but they want the world to clap during the process. The Stoic path is different. Much of the real work happens in silence. No one sees you fighting the old habit. No one sees you choosing not to react. No one sees you waking up tired and still doing what must be done. No one sees you closing the app, putting the phone down, opening the book, taking the walk, cleaning the room, finishing the task, apologizing, staying quiet, telling the truth. But unseen work still changes you. A seed does not need applause to become a tree. The root grows in darkness. Character grows the same way. Marcus Aurelius did not write his private notes for public praise. He wrote them to govern himself. That is one reason his words still matter. They were not performance. They were practice. Today, many people do the opposite. They turn self-improvement into display. They want to look disciplined before they become disciplined. They want to talk about transformation before they endure the boring work of changing. But your life is not repaired by announcing your intentions. It is repaired by repeated action. Small, quiet, uncomfortable, consistent. This is where real strength becomes visible, first to you. When no one is watching and you still do the right thing, you begin to trust yourself. That self-trust is priceless. Because when you trust yourself, you do not need constant validation from others. You know what you are building. You know what it cost. You know the private battles you are winning. So do the work when it is invisible. Especially then. The fifth lesson is this: stop blaming the world for your unfinished life. This one is uncomfortable. And that is why it matters. Yes, life can be unfair. Yes, some people had advantages you did not have. Yes, some people hurt you. Yes, some doors closed. Yes, some losses were real. Stoicism does not ask you to pretend pain did not happen. It asks you not to make pain your permanent identity. There is a quiet danger in blaming. At first, blame feels like justice. It says, I am this way because of them. I am stuck because of what happened. I cannot change because life did not give me enough. Some of this may be true. But if you stay there too long, blame becomes a prison with familiar walls. It explains your life, but it does not improve it. It protects your ego, but it weakens your will. It gives you a reason, but it takes away your power. Epictetus could have built his entire life around resentment. He had reasons, more reasons than most of us, but he became a teacher of inner freedom. That does not mean his suffering was small. It means his spirit was not owned by it. This is a brutal and beautiful part of Stoicism. You may not be responsible for everything that happened to you, but you are responsible for what you build from here. Not perfectly, not instantly, not without help, but still responsible. There comes a point when the old story becomes a cage. You keep repeating what happened. You keep explaining why you are wounded. You keep waiting for the past to release you. But the past does not always apologize. The person who hurt you may never understand. The opportunity may never return. The years may not be refunded. So what now? Will you keep kneeling before what cannot be changed? Or will you stand up inside the part that remains yours? This is not easy, but strength rarely enters through a soft door. Sometimes strength begins with one painful sentence. I cannot change what happened, but I can change what I do next. Say that slowly. I cannot change what happened, but I can change what I do next. That is not denial. That is command. The sixth lesson is this: pain is not the enemy. Surrender is. Pain visits every life. No one escapes it. The rich feel it. The admired feel it. The strong feel it. The quiet feel it. The person you envy is carrying something you cannot see. So the question is not whether pain will come. The question is what pain will make of you. Some pain makes people bitter. Some pain makes people wise. Some pain makes people cruel. Some pain makes people disciplined. The difference is not pain itself. The difference is the meaning you give it and the choices you make inside it. Marcus Aurelius faced loss, pressure, illness, and betrayal. Again and again, he returned to the same inner command. Do not let the obstacle corrupt your character. This is important, because sometimes people survive pain physically, but lose themselves morally. They become harsh because they were hurt. They become dishonest because they were disappointed. They become cold because they were rejected. They become lazy because they suffered. They say, life hurt me, so now I can live beneath my own standards. The Stoic refuses this. The Stoic says, pain may enter my life, but it does not get to choose my character. That is a higher form of strength. Not loud strength. Not social media strength. Not the kind that needs to prove itself. The kind that stays upright when bitterness would be easier. The kind that keeps its word when excuses are available. The kind that remains decent in a world that rewards reaction. This does not mean you never rest. Rest is wise when it restores you. But surrender is different. Rest says, I am recovering so I can continue. Surrender says, I am done being responsible. Know the difference. Do not confuse exhaustion with failure. Do not confuse sadness with weakness. Do not confuse a hard season with a finished life. You may be tired, but tired is not defeated. You may be afraid, but afraid is not finished. You may be alone, but alone is not powerless. The seventh lesson is this: become useful to yourself. This may sound strange, but many people are useful to everyone except themselves. They give advice they do not follow. They encourage others while abandoning their own discipline. They show up for people who would not cross the street for them. They solve everyone else's problems while their own life quietly decays. Stoicism teaches responsibility, but not self-neglect. You are not noble because you betray yourself. You are not strong because you ignore your own life. You are not kind because you let your mind, body, work, and future collapse while you rescue everyone else. Become useful to yourself. That means become someone you can rely on. Someone who keeps promises to yourself. Someone who does not need chaos to feel alive. Someone who does not wait until everything is falling apart before choosing discipline. Someone who can be trusted with your own future. Ask yourself a hard question. If another person treated your life the way you treat your life, would you trust them? If someone else wasted your time the way you waste it, would you respect them? If someone else spoke to you the way you speak to yourself, would you call them a friend? If someone else ignored your goals the way you ignore them, would you keep giving them power? These questions are sharp, but they cut toward honesty. You cannot become strong while treating your own life like a side project. Your body is not a side project. Your mind is not a side project. Your character is not a side project. Your time is not a side project. Your future is not a side project. If nobody is coming to save you, then you must become someone who is no longer abandoned by yourself. That is the deepest rescue. Not being saved from outside, but becoming loyal to your own soul. The 8th lesson is this. The person you are waiting for is the person you must become. This is the heart of it. Many people spend years waiting for someone to arrive with confidence, clarity, discipline, protection, direction, and belief. But what if that person is not coming from the outside? What if that person is built from the inside? What if the rescuer is not a stranger? What if the rescuer is you after training? You are waiting for someone calm. Become calmer. You are waiting for someone disciplined. Become more disciplined. You are waiting for someone brave. Practice courage in small moments. You are waiting for someone to believe in you. Start acting in a way that makes self-respect possible. You are waiting for someone to give your life direction. Choose one worthy direction and walk. Not perfectly, not dramatically, not with applause. Just walk. A life changes when a person stops asking, "Who will save me?" and starts asking, "What would a responsible person do next?" That question is simple, but it is a hammer. It breaks excuses. What would a responsible person do next? When you are angry, when you are tired, when you feel ignored, when the room is quiet and no one is cheering for you, when the old habit calls, when comfort offers you a soft place to rot, what would a responsible person do next? Maybe they would drink water, clean the room, answer the message, finish the work, tell the truth, go for a walk, sleep on time, stop begging, apologize, leave, stay silent, begin again. Not heroic, not glamorous, but real. The Stoics cared deeply about this ordinary greatness. They understood that character is not built only in dramatic moments. It is built in repeated small choices. How you speak when irritated. How you act when unseen. How you respond when disappointed. How you use the first hour of the morning. How you end the day when nobody knows what you endured. This is where the person you are waiting for begins to appear. Not all at once. Not with thunder, but through practice. One kept promise. One controlled reaction. One difficult task. One honest decision. One day without surrender. Then another. Then another. If this message is hitting you, comment one word. Begin. Not because the word has magic, because it marks a decision. You do not need to explain your whole life in the comments. Just write begin. Let it be a small line in the sand. A reminder that you heard the truth, and you are not going to keep sleeping through your own life. Now understand this. Nobody is coming to save you does not mean you must live without love. It does not mean refuse help. It does not mean isolate yourself. It does not mean become hard, bitter, or unreachable. A wise person can receive help. A strong person can ask for guidance. A disciplined person can accept support. But help is not the same as rescue. Guidance is not the same as ownership. Support is not the same as surrendering your responsibility. You can walk with others, but no one can walk for you. You can learn from others, but no one can think for you. You can be encouraged by others, but no one can become disciplined for you. This is the line. Stoicism is not about becoming alone. It is about becoming awake. Awake to what belongs to you. Awake to what you keep avoiding. Awake to how much power you give away when you wait. Awake to the fact that a life can be repaired one decision at a time. So do not wait for a perfect beginning. Perfect beginnings are rare. Most strong lives begin in messy rooms, tired bodies, uncertain minds, and quiet mornings when no one is watching. Do not wait for confidence. Confidence often arrives after action, not before it. Do not wait for motivation. Motivation is a visitor. Discipline must become the house. Do not wait for people to understand. Some people will only understand you after you no longer need them to. Do not wait for fear to leave. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is movement while fear is still speaking. Do not wait for life to become fair. Justice matters, but your character cannot be suspended until the world behaves. Begin where you are, with what you have, with what is still under your command. Your next thought, your next action, your next refusal, your next honest choice, your next morning. This is enough to begin. A weak life is not changed by one giant heroic act. It is changed by becoming less available to weakness every day. Less available to excuses. Less available to comfort. Less available to blame. Less available to self-pity. Less available to the old story that says you cannot change. The old version of you may still speak. It may say, "This is who I am." It may say, "I have always been this way." It may say, "Tomorrow is better." It may say, "What is the point?" Let it speak. You do not have to obey. That voice is not fate. It is training from the past. And training can be replaced. The Stoic does not ask, "Why is this hard?" The Stoic asks, "What is this teaching me to practice?" If people ignore you, practice dignity. If life delays you, practice patience. If fear rises, practice courage. If comfort tempts you, practice discipline. If anger burns, practice restraint. If loneliness visits, practice self-respect. If failure comes, practice beginning again. Nothing is wasted when it becomes training. Even pain can become material. Even disappointment can become instruction. Even weakness can become a doorway if you stop worshiping it. But you must stop waiting. Waiting is the quiet grave of many lives. People wait for the right time until time runs out. They wait to feel brave until fear has made every decision. They wait for approval until their own voice disappears. They wait for rescue until they forget they have legs. Do not let that be your life. The world may not hand you peace. Build it. People may not hand you respect. Earn it from yourself first. The past may not release you kindly. Walk anyway. The future may not promise safety. Prepare anyway. Your mind may not feel strong today. Train it anyway. This is the Stoic path. Not easy, not glamorous, but real. And real strength is worth more than temporary comfort. One day, you may look back and realize that the day everything changed was not the day someone arrived. It was not the day life became easy. It was not the day fear disappeared. It was the day you stopped waiting. The day you stood up in your own life and said, "This is mine to face. My actions are mine. My character is mine. My discipline is mine. My next step is mine." That is the beginning of inner freedom. So here is your final reminder. Nobody is coming to save you. And that is not a curse. It is an invitation. An invitation to stop postponing your strength. An invitation to stop handing your future to moods, people, excuses, and old wounds. An invitation to become the person you were waiting for. Today, do one thing that proves you are no longer waiting. One thing, small enough to do, serious enough to matter. Clean the room. Take the walk. Finish the work. Delete the distraction. Tell the truth. Stay silent instead of reacting. Wake up on time tomorrow. Write the plan. Make the apology. Leave what keeps poisoning you. Begin what fear keeps delaying. One thing, then tomorrow another. That is how a person becomes strong. Not by being rescued, by returning again and again to what is theirs. If this video gave you something to think about, comment "begin" below. Or comment the one thing you are choosing to stop waiting for. Your comment may help another person see that they are not the only one fighting this quiet battle. And if you want more calm Stoic lessons for discipline, self-control, inner strength, and peace, subscribe to Stoic Echoes. But do not just listen. Practice, because the lesson is not alive until it changes what you do next. Nobody is coming to save you. So become the one who no longer needs to be saved.